This morning, we are staying on top of a New York Times report that the Justice Department has issued a federal grand jury subpoena for records tied to Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's travel history around the 2024 election.
Quote, the district attorney attended a leadership training seminar in preparation for the start of her second term. Jeff DeSantis, a spokesman for Ms. Willis's office, said.
But assuming that what we are being told in this article by the reporter and by her office is true, then surely there is a paper trail, right, of her expenditures associated with her campaign when she was in the Bahamas.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today we're going to be talking about your girl, Fani Willis. You know, she is the Fulton County prosecutor who put the RICO on YSL and lost. She's the Fulton County prosecutor who put the RICO on Donald Trump and got herself removed from the case because she was getting chooky with Nathan Wade, the person she was both paying to prosecute the case and also allowing to take her on trips and do the chooky. You know who she is. So now, y'all, the interesting story about Fani at the moment, besides the fact that she's just about to, in a few weeks, going to have to go and testify in front of her state senate about her chooky and her perceived improprieties or corruption. Besides that, the interesting thing about her right now is that the Department of Justice, this is the United States Department of Justice, has issued a subpoena. They want to see information about a particular trip, it appears, that Fani took around the November time frame of last year. And when this was first reported by the New York Times, everybody was like, what? What's this all about? Like, we all know Donald Trump thinks Fani's a criminal. We all know that he would probably like to see her in prison somewhere. But what is this? Why subpoena travel records from November 2024? Like, what's that all about? Like re-election time? Well, now a new New York Times article is giving more details about the potential trip in question. And it's also raising more questions. And as you're going to see here, a local Georgia lawyer went and did some digging. And we're going to link to her YouTube down in the description. Y'all go show her some love. She did some digging. She couldn't find any records of this trip. So this is quite interesting, y'all. So first, we're going to go ahead and take a look. I'm going to remind y'all of the subpoena that's open. And then we'll see about how this Georgia lawyer went and tried to find where Fani disclosed this trip and didn't see any disclosures, y'all. But before we do, y'all, we have a new webpage for my people out there who are like, yo, I have money, but I don't want to give it away to the people who are trying to take it. How can I protect my retirement? Y'all, gold. How many times do I have to tell you? Gold has been man's longest monetary best friend for 5,000 years. I mean, what else are you looking for? Go to our webpage. Go to the new webpage, Paralegold. PARALEGOLD.com. Get the information on how to protect your retirement. And you can call 844-651-8334 and speak to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Now let's go ahead and hop into this content.
This morning, we are staying on top of a New York Times report that the Justice Department has issued a federal grand jury subpoena for records tied to Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's travel history around the 2024 election. Willis is an outspoken legal opponent of President Trump and brought charges against him and more than a dozen others for allegedly trying to tamper with the 2020 election in Georgia. Willis was eventually removed from the case due to her relationship with the special prosecutor. Some experts say the Justice Department would use travel records to determine if Willis was telling the truth when testifying about the relationship.
I think that Trump was burned, in his opinion, and as a result of that, he's trying to get even, in my view. Where that's going to lead, I don't know at this point, but it could be very perilous. It could be, as I mentioned earlier, much ado about nothing.
A spokesperson for the DA's office says they are unaware of an investigation. In a statement, an FBI spokesperson tells us it cannot confirm nor deny the existence of any investigation per DOJ policy.
So now the Georgia attorney that we're talking about, her name is Megan Grout. criminal defense lawyer. Again, link in the description. Hope I pronounced her name correctly. She is doing some investigating into this whole subpoena situation. And we're going to see what she was able to find and what she wasn't able to find today, y'all. This thing is getting quite interesting.
Okay, so we have some clues on what the Department of Justice might actually be looking into when it comes to their subpoena that they issued for Fani Willis's international travel records. Well, a new article has come out in the New York Times that has given us a little bit more of a clue.
The New York Times article says Justice Department scrutinizes a trip Fani Willis took to the Bahamas. She took the Bahamas trip with some colleagues last November after she was reelected to a second term. Her office said on Monday that the trip was for a leadership training session and that campaign funds covered the cost. Okay, so campaign funds did cover the cost. All right.
We know that they are looking at a trip that Fani Willis took to the Bahamas in November of 2024 after she was reelected. The New York Times reporter did reach out to Fani Willis's office, and the spokesperson there said that she took a trip to the Bahamas with her chief investigator, and not Nathan Wade, I know y'all are thinking that, to a leadership conference put on by a company called Vera Causa.
Quote, the district attorney attended a leadership training seminar in preparation for the start of her second term. Jeff DeSantis, a spokesman for Ms. Willis's office, said her chief investigator was also present on the trip. He added, no government funds were used by District Attorney Willis for expenses related to the training. So campaign funds were used, not government funds, apparently. The training session was organized by Vera Causa Group, a company that employs former prosecutors and offers training and consulting to prosecutors' offices around the country. The training that Ms. Willis attended last fall included sessions with titles like Things Have Changed, The Modern Prosecutor's Guide to Media Management. Fani definitely, let me not get started. And quote, Leadership for the Modern Prosecutor's Office. Susan Ryan, a co-founder of Vera Causa, recalled the training as, quote, very intensive, quote, adding, quote, DA Willis said it was the best professional training she had ever been to, and she couldn't believe how much work it was. And I take that feedback as a source of pride, quote.
But assuming that what we are being told in this article by the reporter and by her office is true, then surely there is a paper trail, right, of her expenditures associated with her campaign when she was in the Bahamas.
So here we're about to see where Attorney Grout has gone into the records, okay, because Fani has to report what she does with her campaign funds. Attorney Grout goes into the 800 pages of records to try to find out, because is Attorney Grout just on a wild goose chase? No. This is apparently the subject of a subpoena. So Attorney Grout's like, well, let me find out what I can find out. Let's see what she actually found out, y'all.
So I searched by Fani Willis's name, pulled up her filing for the second half of 2024. This is an 831 page PDF, but really only the last 150 pages of it are expenditures. The first portion of that is all the contributions that they have to list out. Well, I sat down and flipped through all roughly 150 pages of her campaign expenditures for the second half of 2024. I could not find a single entry that refers to the Vera Causa Group, that mentions any kind of airline travel in November of 2024, mentions any kind of hotel stay in the Bahamas during that time that her campaign would have paid for. And certainly, look, I know that sometimes you reserve stuff in advance and maybe they don't show up exactly in November, but I looked through everything for those 6 months, the second half of the year. I also flipped back through the first 6 months of 2024 and the filing from 2025, just to see if I could find anything associated with this trip to the Bahamas. I can't find anything.
Woo! So it seems like this whole situation might be heating up. Fani Willis's accounts are under subpoena. Fani Willis's travel records are under subpoena. And apparently, according to Attorney Grout, who she admitted, she said she's not a campaign finance expert or attorney, but she's able to look through some records and see if there's some disclosure there. I suppose that. And she said she couldn't find anything. Now, y'all, I want y'all to go definitely do click the link and watch the full video, because she did find a couple of interesting things on the disclosures, and she's asking for your help with identifying what those things may be. I want y'all have to go. I'm gonna leave that as a bit of a mystery. I don't want to steal her thunder. Y'all go click the link and check out her page. So y'all, we have ourselves here a good old mystery, but Attorney Grout does say in her piece that it looks like Fani is the subject of the subpoena. Whereas previously, when we had initially heard about the subpoena, people wondered, okay, maybe Fani's records are being subpoenaed as part of a different investigation into somebody else. But Attorney Grout concludes, no, with this new New York Times piece, it seems like Fani probably is the subject of the subpoena herself, meaning not just the subpoena, but the investigation. So y'all, let me know what you think. Let me know, what do you think? Let's get some speculation happening, y'all. Now, this is for speculation purposes only, because none of us actually know what's going on. But what could this be? And why? What could be a good reason, if it is true that these records don't reflect this trip to the Bahamas? Y'all, what is going on? I want y'all to let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure you drop a comment for this one, y'all. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Y'all know when you share these videos out, it helps the channel grow. It helps us keep bringing you these videos. So stop, hit the share button, share the video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. To my people with a retirement, go down, click the link in the description, Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com. Get the information on protecting your retirement from the upsies, downsies, roundsies, and the roundsies. And also, you can reach out to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. I want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.